everyone, and welcome back to another live show. I can't believe I get to do this every single Thursday. This is absolutely fantastic, and everybody watching, always appreciated that you tune in. Welcome back to another live show here at the Smoking Studios on the Rocky Mountain Cigar Show. We've got a great guest, as always. Brandon Marsh, good friend of the show. He's been with the show almost since pretty much I started the show. He was a very early guest, and he's been on several times to the point where he likes me enough. He thinks I do an okay enough job that he supports the show. So we give him all the love possible. We are going to be smoking. Well, we'll let him show you. And we'll kind of dive into that quick little bit of just some show maintenance here. Let me get my cursor to where I can find it. As this is a sponsored show, there will be no rolling ads through the bottom. It'll only be the Big Sky ads. So fire up your favorite Big Sky, grab a absolutely fantastic drink, something of the bourbon fashion or rum if that's your thing. Grab your cell phone charger, go outside, and tune out to the world for the next 2 hours while you listen to two bald guys talking about cigars, one with a bigger beard, one with a little smaller beard. But, we've got some new life here in the show. So quick little bit of show maintenance here. Hey, how you doing, bros? Big shout out to all the show sponsors that remotely make this show possible. We've got BAMF Cigars. Let me turn that comment off. We got BAMF Cigars, ROCF Cigars, Kristoff Cigars, Sagrado Cigars, Micallef Cigars, Big Sky Cigars, the sponsor of tonight's episode, Cornell and Diehl Pipe Tobacco, La Aurora Cigars, as well as West Tampa Tobacco Company, Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust. And tonight I will be drinking the Axe and the Oak bourbon, which is the official bourbon drink of the show. Try Axe and the Oak if you're in Colorado. Pretty much any of the liquor stores. If not, just jump on the Axe and the Oaks website, give them a shot. While you're checking out the website, jump over to smoking.com and check out the Cigar of the Month Club. It'll be the best damn Cigar of the Month Club. I absolutely promise you that. So without any further ado, sorry guys, my screen over here is kind of screwing up here a little bit, so it's kind of throwing what I'm saying off balance as I'm trying to figure everything out. Hey, how you doing, Mike? So without any further ado, because nobody really comes here to listen to me, and they sure as shit don't come here to look at me. Let's go ahead and let me bring this and bring in Brandon Marsh. How you doing, brother?
Ryan, you're quite the hype man, my man. I'm great. I am great.
Hey, I like to hype up those that I like and that I love. And you guys make an absolutely fantastic product. And I love getting the word out about you guys. I mean, you're killing it. You guys are growing. Every time we talk, there's something new going on, and I love it. I love it. In fact, may I share some family stuff or no?
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Well, I will let you share. I don't know if the world knows this about Brandon or not. But Brandon, go ahead.
I'm recently engaged and I have a son on the way.
Yeah. This son is going to be a killer. He's going to be a cowboy rodeo. He's grown up in Texas, Montana. He's going to be fisher, horseback rider. Your kid's going to be all over the place. And it is a boy.
Yes. Yeah.
His name's gonna be Maverick. Okay. I was going to hold back the name, but you threw it out there. So he's going to be a card player too.
Hell of a poker player.
So let's just dive right into it, brother. How was PCA for you guys? What was that experience like this year?
Very interesting in a lot of good ways. I'd say it was our best show to date. We ended up getting a really good spot. We beat our numbers from last year. We got new accounts and areas where we had opportunity to grow, like the Southeast Florida and Mississippi, and more accounts up on the Northeast New England area. So that was really cool. And then just a lot of reorders. So that was the best part about it. And then just seeing old friends. So,
well, I tell you, the reorders is really the best part about it, because it doesn't matter that they order you once, because you don't make money off of the one time. It's always best, obviously, that they reorder. So the fact that you're getting a lot of reorders is awesome. Like that's fantastic news. So what was your opinion this early in the year versus previous years?
Oh, I love it. You know, it gives a nice bump to your Q1. So that was huge. And, you know, traditionally being up in the north, it's a little slow and it's cold. People aren't smoking cigars unless they have a nice lounge to go to. And our Q1 got a nice bump. I mean, we had our best show ever. So that was really cool for us and just growing. And now we can really focus on the full year ahead of us. You know, we got the show out of the way. Now I can focus on events and growing the brand. So it's pretty cool.
No, absolutely. And that's a load off, right? Because for 6 months of the year, you're thinking of the brand and the event. And so now the event is over. You're still thinking about it for next year, but you're turning your efforts more towards growing and making money versus building a show.
Correct.
So no, Bruce, you beat me to it. I was about to do the "What Are We Smoking Tonight" segment. I was just getting in, making a little bit of friendly chat. I swear, I love this guy, but man, he keeps me on track. Granted, if I don't let him know that I'm not doing a show, he calls me or texts me and asks me I'm okay.
Oh man,
He
accountability,
is
buddy.
Oh yeah, dude, he is a religious follower of this show, and I love it. I had the opportunity to meet Bruce down at the Great Smoke earlier this year. So yes, Bruce, we're gonna jump right into the "What Are You Smoking Tonight" segment, sponsored by Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust. I am smoking the Blackfoot, which this was released last year at PCA. I gotta say, man, this is my favorite of the River series. I have this all the time. This is my favorite. What are you smoking?
You know, I am smoking the Big Sky Blackfoot as well. You know, it's a beautiful San Andreas wrapper, Habano binder, and a Corojo filler. I'd say it's our most complex cigar. We blended it with Chico Rivas, and we've just had amazing feedback with it.
Dude, everyone I have given this to has loved it.
Yeah.
I think you guys knocked this one out of the park.
Thanks. I mean, I want to give most of the credit to Chico. I mean, it really put a lot into his expertise with his knowledge and cigar rolling. He does some amazing cigars. So that's Chico Rivas, if you guys have ever smoked some of his stuff.
And that is
go
ahead.
What's that?
I said that's your master blend.
That for the Blackfoot.
For the Black.
Yeah. Carlos Sanchez, he does our other cigars out of Tacasa and Esteli. But I was gonna say for this Blackfoot, what I love to pair with, it's a Guinness. I love a stout with this cigar.
I could see that creaminess of the Guinness coming through, and the cigar itself is not strong. So like this is a perfect example of dark does not equal strong. Because when the makeup of what you just told me, I would be expecting a little bit of a punchier cigar. It is very well balanced. I mean, you guys really did shape the River series to be out in the sun smoking a cigar and have it not be heavy weighing you down, regardless of what you're doing. And I think this one is an absolutely fantastic blend of just the right amount of really, really fuller flavor, but with a solid medium body and very little nicotine in it. Like it is, you could smoke this in the morning and at night before you go to bed.
Oh, I'd agree. Beautiful white ash.
Mm-hmm.
So I just
Absolutely.
know.
So give us a little bit of a breakdown of what the rest of your year looks like. I am going to share the show in a few more areas. But give us an idea of what the rest of the year is to look like for Big Sky.
So events, definitely doing a lot of events. I have 4 events planned for April. I'm leaving May and June open for me because my son's coming. But we're getting into Rocky Mountain Cigar Festival. And then also we're in that Cigar Heritage Festival in Ybor.
You guys
So
are going to be down in Ybor.
yeah, we signed up for that
Awesome.
one. Yeah.
You know what?
So
You guys should try to make your way down to Cigar Prop. Kevin's right there. Not very far. Go down and jump on his show. See if you can grab yourself in the studio there.
oh, that'd be cool. I need to reach out to him and see if he'd be interested. I went on his show last year.
Oh yeah, I'm actually going to see Kevin on Monday. I'm gonna be in the background of a show on Monday.
Oh, cool. Cool. So you're going down to Florida?
Yeah, I gotta be down there for some work. I'm gonna be there from Sunday. It's crazy, man. I fly in Sunday since I'm 2 hours behind. If I want to be there for an 11:30 noon lunch, I have to go there the night before, or I have to find a 5 a.m. flight. Because it's a 3 hour flight. That's 8 o'clock. Add the 2 hours, that puts me at 10. Still got to get luggage and bags. So every time I fly to Florida for work, I always have to go there the day before, or else half the day's gone when I get there. And so I'm flying in Sunday, gonna be with a client on Monday, flying to Atlanta Tuesday morning, meeting with a client in the afternoon, and then flying home Tuesday night.
Oh, that's awesome.
So it'll be a big one. Speaking of travel, now that you've done this for several years now, what was your travel before this company? And what is your travel now?
Well, I mean, luckily for me, I was chasing projects across the country doing working in the energy, putting pipe in the ground. So I've traveled uh, from Texas to, I don't know, just traveled the whole country doing projects. So then when I was going to do sales and going to do events, I was, used to put rest in your head in the hotel rooms. So
So are you traveling more with Big Sky than you were before Big Sky?
I would say I'm traveling to more places, but I'm not on the road as much. Like I'm home more, but I'm definitely like going out uh, every weekend for an event. But like when I was doing pipeline, the only time I'd get home would be like during the holidays, like Christmas and Easter. Usually not even
Really?
Easter. It'd be like Christmas and like 4th of July. I'd come home like twice a year when I was pipelining. It's a kind of a lonely profession sometimes.
So when you say pipe lighting, are you talking about like you're going and working on pipelines, or you're going and putting in pipelines?
Constructing them, welding them up, or fusing them, depending on if it's carbon steel or poly, and then putting them in the ground.
So you're with a crew then, traveling the country to very remote areas, probably.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You usually go to the projects. Somehow, always are in the places that you don't want to go in the state.
So that's probably also put you in some of the beautiful areas of the country too,
Yeah,
right out
yeah.
in the wilderness. Because you're it's not like it's all bad. I mean, it's you're still going through. So I'm just curious about it. So would you say you enjoyed the pipeline more? Do you miss it? Would you go back?
I mean, I miss it, and I'll go back to it. My dad, he owns a pipeline construction company called ProPipe, and that's who I went back to work for this winter. So I'm working remotely for him right now out of Houston. So I'm doing ProPipe and Big Sky Cigar right now.
So
But it was pretty.
So you went back in.
Yeah. Well, I was back home for Christmas, and my dad asked me if I wanted to come back to work for him. So it was pretty cool. Usually he doesn't ask that type of stuff.
Well, let's also be honest. You got a kid on the way. To sock up any additional funds coming in now is going to be easier time-wise than after the kid, than after Maverick arrives. So absolutely, dude. I mean, do whatever you've got to do to bring in all that you can. As somebody that has one daughter, damn, they're expensive.
Yeah.
Damn, they're expensive. There's always a new toy. There's always a new piece of clothing. She's got more clothes than I do, more shoes than I do. I have like 3 pairs of underwear, 2 pairs of pants, and like cigar shirts.
Yeah.
She's got dresses, pants, tops, shoes, sandals, toy. That's what we do though. It's the sacrifices you make for your family. So what's one of the number one things you're looking forward to in being a dad?
Oh, just spending time with them. Just like with my stepson Gage, I'm coaching his JV rugby team. I'm at practice right now. After this, I'm going to go out with the boys and help coach some more, but just being involved in their lives. So
You gonna get a Big Sky cigar binky?
I should.
Absolutely. Dude, I looked for it for my daughter. Like, my wife was totally okay with it. I was on Etsy everywhere. I was looking for a binky that looked like a cigar, and I couldn't find it. I almost tried to have my buddy like 3D print one, but then I didn't think that was going to be safe.
Yeah.
But so are you nervous at all with the baby coming and with you being with work? I mean, you're a very, very important man in 2 companies now. Does that kind of make you nervous at all? Splitting that time, finding that work life?
Oh, I mean, it's hard for me to not just focus on something. So like I'm very focused on Big Sky and very focused on ProPipe. So once the baby comes, then I'll be more focused on the kid. But right now I'm just focused on getting all these ducks in a row. So when my son arrives, I can give him give him attention, not be scrambling, wanting to kill myself.
Are you going to take some time off from both companies for a little bit, kind of slow down a little bit for a short term?
I mean, I'll be still answering emails, but I won't be doing events or traveling. So I'll do what I can from the house. I'd go crazy if I wouldn't. I'd be wondering what was going on.
You're not the type of guy that just turns something loose.
Yeah. Not yet.
But it looks like the crew that you brought with you, speaking of taking time off and everything, you're going to have to obviously rely heavily on your team at Big Sky. Looks like you brought a full crew with you to PCA.
Yeah, we brought our Texas rep, Brad, and then Adam, our guy up in Montana. And then Brian Sonia, he's our guy in New England. They just do a great job for us, and I'm very happy that they're on our team. We wouldn't be able to do what we're doing without them. So it's pretty cool. And we've got Cap, too, Cap Lewitz, media. He does a lot of our maintaining our house accounts. So he does a great job too. So thanks, Cap, if you watch this.
So So how are you feeling about slowing down a little bit though during that time, knowing that you do have that good crew? Is Jess going to step up a little bit more during that time and do some events, or kind of what's going to be that dynamic from people looking at your events?
Yeah, of course. Me and Jess talked about we got into this big account up in New England called Federal Cigar. They have 3 locations. It's a really nice account to be with. Jeremy, thank you very much for bringing us in. And he wants to do an event this spring. And I just told Jess, I was like, hey, man, my April's already booked out, and I don't want to fly like in April, or I mean in May, when Mavericks could be coming. So could you go do that event? So he said he would. So that's pretty cool.
Well, now are you going to be able to make it to Rocky Mountain Cigar? For those of you that don't know this, that have never been to Rocky Mountain Cigar Night, Big Sky has been an integral part in raising money at this event and helping us build this event and get the event off the ground since day one. It's only 3 years in, but they've been with us for 3 years. They're sponsoring it again this year. And we wouldn't be able to do it without them and several others. But Big Sky was one of the first that we reached out to and jumped right on. And because of their help and their donation last year, we were actually able to raise 30 grand to give a wounded warrior a dog, and that dog will be presented at this year's event. So if you're interested in coming, you go to eventbrite.com, search Rocky Mountain Cigar Night, and please, we would love to be your host for that night. It's an all inclusive event. Are you going to be able to make it this year, Brandon?
What day is it again?
July 26th. Look at you. Look at he's just filling it in. I forgot the date, and he just comes right in. What day is it again? Look at him. He's perfect.
I should be able to make that.
Well, good, because we've got can't give away everything, but we are going to be doing one of the things I will give away, and just because I'm going to talk about it, just a little teaser. We are going to be doing a dog agility course.
Yeah.
And we are having custom cigars made. And if the human runs and beats the dog from half the distance the dog has to run, you're going to end up winning a free cigar.
That's pretty cool.
Now, the great thing about it is I've been assured that nobody's ever going to beat the dog. But I'm sure there are some people out there that are more than willing. We're not charging for the experience, so don't even worry about it. You're not wasting money to lose. But if you win, you're pretty. Not my fat ass ain't getting off nothing. I'll blow the whistle.
Yeah, that's cool. What type of dog is it? Is it?
I think we're gonna use like the German Shepherd, the Malamute. Is that what it is? The German Malinois. Yeah, because that's Mark Geist's dog is a Malinois, and I think that's who would be doing the agility course. But it's going to be a great night, and I'm excited, dude. I still have yet to meet you in person, so let's take a quick second here and let's talk about why we haven't met. Why haven't you been to Colorado to come out? No, actually, I take that back, everybody. He came out here. I was out of town the weekend that he actually did have an event, and he did reach out to me. But when are you coming out next?
It'll probably be the end of July. My fiance's family, they like to go to Crested Butte for part of the summer. So they rented a house, I think the month of July or August. So I think the last week of July they're going to be there. So it'd be perfect for me to come up for that event.
Yeah, bring your wife too.
Yeah.
It'll be the event's going to be at a vineyard, and this is going to be the first year that the vineyard will be in full bloom. It's been in recovery phase since the new owners took over.
Oh, cool. Cool.
So I'm actually looking really forward to seeing that myself. And yeah, use that as a selling weekend. I mean, go hit up Smoking Cave, Edwards, Casbar. Are you in 3Ds?
Not yet. There's a few Colorado accounts that reached out to me, and I sent paperwork to, but they never followed through with it. And I need to touch back with them. But we're in Smoking Cave and Edwards with Nick.
Yep.
Just got reorders from them from the show, so that's good. Always good to see those, like we were talking about. And then I met the two guys from Casbar at PCA and exchanged cards.
Oh,
So
Tony and Clayton?
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I'll get you in there, dude. Don't worry about it. Tony's my partner in the charity.
Oh, cool. Yeah, no, he was mentioning that. He was saying that he brought that up when we talked. But it was like quick, like a minute. Like they were kind of like walking that way and I was walking this way, and I saw Casbar and I was just like, "Hey, my name's Brandon with Big Sky. Could we work together in the future?" And he's just like, "I know, like you donated. I work with Ryan on the charity." So I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool."
Yeah, he's Tony's my partner, and then him and Clayton are partners in 2 lounges here. One in Lafayette and one in Parker. So
yeah.
So as you're going through, this is now what, year 3 for PCA for you guys?
It was our 3rd PCA. We went to TPE right after COVID, so in 21.
So 3rd year PCA. Are people starting to that maybe don't know the brand? Are they starting to just, hey, I'm hearing about you guys. Hey, I'm hearing about you. Kind of tell us what that feedback has been like from that first year to now.
We're definitely getting more brand recognition. And one of the cool things that I heard at this show was Big Tony from Jake Wyatt. She's like, dude, or however Big Tony talks. He used to be with Espinoza, but he's just like, man, everybody's smoking Big Sky and everybody else is boost. So, I mean, obviously they're good sticks. People are enjoying them, so they're finishing them. So they light them up at our appointment and they take them to their next. So it was pretty cool to hear that from Big Tony.
No, that's awesome. And more people are recognizing the brand. If you guys want to be part of their Facebook group, Big Sky Cigar Co. has a Facebook group. Definitely jump on that. Now, are the tackle boxes back in stock? Can people order those? It is coming up on fishing season.
Yeah, so the box that you see in the banner, we originally did 8,000 of those for a company called Bespoke Post, and that was a I guess licensed agreement we did with them, so it was kind of exclusive, or it was exclusive. So now we're selling those to retailers at this year's PCA. So retailers did order those for this upcoming spring and Father's Day. So
And how did those? Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, and they're available online too.
And how did those go over? Did a lot of people pick up those, order a bunch?
Yeah. No, they sold good.
Awesome. And that is, if I buy it online, it comes with the cigars, right?
Yeah.
Or is it just the box?
No, it comes with the cigars.
So it's 4 of the minnow and
8 hand-tied flies, and that box that it's in, it's that magnetic bamboo case, and it's got Big Sky engraved on the lid. It's really nice. It's a cool gift.
Yeah, no, I'm still trying to, where do you order them? Where do people order
them? You can get them off our website at bigskycigar.com, or some of the other retailers will have them, but Big Sky Cigar will be the easiest place.
bigskycigar.com. Look at that. How great is it? You get a little fishing tackle, you get some cigars. Is it waterproof? Oh, totally kidding.
No.
No, I'm totally kidding.
And the thing is, if you don't like the flies in it, because maybe it's these are trout flies, if you want to use it for something else, I mean, you can just take the flies out and put your flies in. So We've
No,
we've heard some people say, "Oh, what about bass flies or whatever else?" And I was like, "Well, just take those one out and put the ones in that you want to use." I mean, it's pretty simple.
hey, we're a cigar company. We're not a tackle shop. Like these flies represent what works in Big Sky, Montana country. Uh, what works in your own area. I tell you what, just it's a beautiful thing. You go to different areas of the country and just change your flies, you know.
Yeah,
I know nothing about fly fishing. I last time I tried, I about broke the pole. I got the string or the fishing line way up in the tree, couldn't get it down. The whole 10 and 2 thing didn't work for me.
yeah.
And then you give it to my wife, and she's over there like, you know,
Oh
and
yeah,
I don't get it. I could cast, I could bait, I could use any other thing. I could not get the fluid motion of the which is weird because I know how to crack a whip, but I just
yeah.
couldn't get that motion of that fly rod.
Uh, well, the thing is like I went fly fishing down in Belize this fall. You know, I wanted to be that guy that went and caught a tarpon or a permit, and I'm just like, want to be cool. And I get out on the boat with the captain, and he's just like, "All right, we need a cast over there by those mangroves," and it was like 100 yards away, and I was just like, I can't cast that far. I was like, I'm used to casting like 20 or 30 yards across a creek or a river, you know, or up and down a river, not that far. So he showed me how he was doing it, and that open water, uh, big water fishing is a lot different. That's for sure.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Considering you're the smallest thing in a rubber ducky in a
Yeah.
big bathtub, and everything wants to eat you. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just say that those tarpon though are freaking huge. I don't know if you have ever seen videos of people catching them, but that's a huge fish. I was got to one part on Key Calker where you could feed them with your hand, and this fish comes out. I got a sardine comes out of the water, and its mouth probably like that opens up and like grabs my hand, rips the sardine out. It was pretty. Watching the videos, I was like, I'm so happy that thing doesn't have teeth.
Yeah, dude, I I love going and swimming in lakes and ponds that I know I'm the biggest fucking thing in. It's something like that. Like, okay, no teeth, that's fine. Snapping turtles, they don't bother me. But ocean, anything in Texas or Florida, Louisiana, alligators, I can't do it, man. My uncle was a game warden in Vero Beach, Florida, and alligator farm like a mile down, and a couple gators got out and walked. I didn't realize they could get that far, but they did. Walked down, got in his neighbor's pond. My uncle's in there with like 60s boy shorts, like PE athletic shorts,
Yeah.
and like a pole, and just like rooting around talking to us, and I'm like, pay attention to the water. And then he just grabs it, drags it out, brings it down. The guy brings it back to the farm, and he looks over, he goes, one might have gotten my pond. Never went in there again.
Oh my god.
Never. I was probably 13.
Yeah.
Never went in his pond again. I don't, and he's like, I'm joking, right? Doesn't matter. You set that seed in my head. I cannot enjoy myself anymore.
Yeah. Uh,
So,
I just don't like
hey, Drew.
swimming in anything that you can't see the water. You don't know what you're gonna bump into.
Yes, or would bump into you.
Yeah, and that's when they bite because they don't know what you are.
Yeah, and I I don't. I go into the ocean far enough to go chest level. Now let me rephrase that. I go in far enough to my knees, and then I sit down. Now I'm chest level. All right, that's as close as my wife would be out there, be like, "Oh my gosh, I'm bouncing on one leg." I'm like, "I've got to go the other direction because if something grabs you, I'm of no use. I've got to go get somebody else." So you're on
Yeah.
your own. But I'm that same way, man. It's being out in the boat. in the water is an eerie thing because you don't know what's under you.
No, and the great thing about social media and the internet now, you see all these things that like are oh shit moments that like you didn't know where it's gonna happen.
Yeah, did you see the one where the guy was on the kayak in the ocean, and all of a sudden an orca comes up, and then I'm sorry, not an orca, humpback comes up and like picks his tail up and splashes him feet away, but still, like the tail is bigger than the kayak he's on.
Yeah, it really resets you pretty quick when you see how big those creatures are.
Yeah, my butt pucker up real fast, real fast. I'm not one to pray. I'd be screaming hallelujah at that point. So PCA's done. We got some events coming up. When are you getting back down to the factory? When are we starting to potentially see some new stuff coming out of the factory from you guys?
So we're back in the lab. We've been back in it. We're working on our next cryptid cigar, and it's going to be our most full cigar that we've released so far. I'll say that. It's going to be a Dominican stick, but that's as much as I'll say. So cryptid for PCA 25.
Nice. I didn't catch. Did we get a size, or are we not given a size?
So we're going to stick with that 5x60 Gordo. It's an interesting size. And then we want to do a cryptid sampler in the future. So we'll just keep the sizes.
Now, you guys seem to be having a lot of fun with your line. Like you did a river series. You capped it off with the Blackfoot. In the process of capping it off, you started the cryptid series. Are we going to see like since River's done, are we going to see another River line from now Texas, or are we going to see something along those lines potentially once the kind of the cryptid takes its place, or have you guys not thought that far ahead?
We haven't really thought about that. I mean, we've finished the River series in Montana, and Jess and I, we love hunting and fishing, so maybe we'll do something that's iconic in the hunting and fishing world. That's associated in that way, but really we're focused on this next cryptid series. The cryptid series is going to be fun.
Now, do we know how big that series is going to be? Because I ask because cryptid is for those of you that don't know, cryptid is like an overall encompassing term of like mythic being, or am I explaining that right? Because Bigfoot's considered a cryptid.
Yeah, I think the definition is a thing that's known to be true, but it's never been proven. So Bigfoot, our cryptid with the dragon was the Flathead Lake monster. It's like the Loch Ness monster of the U.S. So then our next cryptid, really how the line's gonna work. I don't really want to give away like.
No, don't give away the name or anything. I was just wanting you to explain so that way. My question was: is this going to be what, like a 6-part series, like the River? Do you have like how big you want to make it?
We might cap it off at 5. Maybe we'll go to 10. I'm not sure. There's so many cryptid creatures.
Exactly.
But we definitely wanted to do the Montana cryptid, and then or the next cryptid, it's actually going to be a Dominican cryptid. So pay homage to the Dominican Republic. So that's where that's going to go. So you can kind of guess with your head what we're thinking, what we want to do. If we're going to do a Dominican cryptid, maybe we'll do a Nicaraguan cryptid and a Honduras cryptid.
See, I love that because that brings the brand and then the areas that the cigars are coming from all in sync with each other. So you guys seem to be having fun with the lines. That's for sure.
Yeah. No, it is a lot of fun, and the people that we're able to partner with, the factories, they've all been great to work with. Like I said, Chico Rivas, our master blender with the Blackfoot, he was awesome. Him and Jamil. Can't say more than good things about those guys than Carlos Sanchez in Nicaragua. And then we also work with another factory, Tecasa. They make our Yellowstone. But Carlos has just been a big piece of Big Sky.
Now, since the river line is done, will the river line ever have an extensions to it at some point, or do you not see that just being the one and done size?
Maybe we've talked about going some line extensions, adding, maybe Robustos and a Toro to the Yellowstone, or doing like a Super Toro. Just adding a couple different sizes. We just haven't got to that point yet. I mean, Jess and I, we bootstrap Big Sky, right? So when we started it, we did a blend per size, and then we thought, if we were going to get into a real estate space in cigar shops, we really needed to have 4 facings, 4 different blends, 3 or 4 different blends before we become attractive to retail shops. So we worked more on becoming more horizontal, I guess you could say, of getting those blends developed. And now that we've got the blends developed and we've got this momentum, we'll look at adding some more of the more popular sizes. But
now, one of the things I was thinking of that I thought would be kind of creative and fun, I don't know if this is a thing for rivers, but when you have like a fork or like an arm of the river or a dog leg in the river, do those side rivers have names?
well, it depends on if it's slow moving or fast moving.
Well, I say that because if something like dog leg off the Yellowfoot or Yellowstone, and it had its name, that might be an extension for the line.
Yeah, just like a tributary, I guess.
Yeah, the name of that tributary could be an extension for that line. I don't know. It's just a thought. It's just like an easy naming thing.
Yeah, no, that could work.
Dude, I'm always listen. Brandon always knows when I'm calling him or whatever. I'm giving him ideas. All right. I'm sure he's at this point like, oh my gosh, like I text him ideas for Lanceros because I want one. And I know it would be great. I text him like, dude, here's a name thing. I do this with everybody. It's fun for me. And if anything ever actually landed, I'd like it'd be fun to be able to be like, hey, I suggested that.
Yeah.
So, so as you guys are going down this cryptid line, the river line's done. The cryptid is could be really vast, and it's a line that actually could have limited runs in it because it could really be whatever you guys want it to be.
Yep.
Size wise, cryptids are big and small, and I mean obviously I looked on a page and some of them are like super tiny, like devil kangaroos or whatever they are, all the way up to Bigfoot. So there's a whole lot there to go down. So when are we going to get the Lancero? See, I see what I did there. See what I did there.
Yeah. I see what you did there. I think that would happen within the next 5 years. I could see that.
I'll take it.
I really like the idea of doing an event only Lancero. We've talked about that.
Yeah.
And just something that's a great cigar that, people can obviously get only at events that we host. So
absolutely. So how is the US looking for you guys now? Pre PCA to after PCA. What were the shops that you were in? How many? And then how many after?
we added around probably 15 new accounts at the show.
Awesome.
We got into more accounts in Florida and the Northeast. Just really want to focus on trying to get more into Arizona and Pennsylvania and expanding more into Florida. You know, like 3 of the biggest markets out there, we really haven't hit them. Like we don't really have a presence in Arizona right now. We don't have a presence in. We actually got into 2 shops in Pennsylvania, so I'll take that back at PCA. Then we're probably in 5 or 6 shops in Florida now, but right now we're in 230 shops across the country, and the 3 biggest markets we really haven't tapped into yet. So we could see some huge growth in the next couple of years.
God, I remember that first time you came on, man. I don't think you were at 100 yet.
No, we were just in Montana, and Montana has
That's
like
what I'm
30 shops in
saying.
the whole state.
I don't remember what the number was, but it was low. So like that's awesome. I love seeing that progression. Again, that just goes to show, like, because you guys aren't the biggest outfit, you don't have the biggest sales team, but that just goes to show that you have a great product that it's growing from the ground up, and you're not, uh, for lack of for lack of better words here, buying space inside stores like some companies can. You're actually earning that space. You're earning those accounts.
Oh, I would agree with that 100%. And that's the way that we want to do it. You know, we want to earn people's business, and we want to produce great cigars that people come back to. And that's the huge thing about reorders. It just shows that people are coming back because they are great cigars.
Absolutely.
And then all of our growth's been organic. You know, it's just been us interacting with people getting to know Jess and I and our reps, and getting to know our story and what we're passionate about, and enjoying our cigars. So it's pretty cool. I mean, there's a shop in Jamestown, California, Stogie's Gold Country, and Phil and Cindy and their crew, they're almost a second family to me. At PCA, they brought me baby gifts. So I was like, this is awesome, you know.
We have an incredible community in the cigar world. We really, we have our fuckheads in this community. But all in all, the vast majority of this community is just give you the shirt off your back, help you out, even fellow manufacturers, quote unquote competitors. You always hear the stories of when there's a fire and tobacco goes down, all these manufacturers reach out, hey, how can we help? How can we help? Like that is, does the pipe community like that? Is the pipe lay community to that extent?
The pipeline family.
Yeah.
I mean, that it is they're a bunch of really good people too. And it is a big family, and people look out for each other if you're a good person.
Will your competitor give you a backhoe if you need it?
I mean, I'm sure if you needed it, they'd rent it to you.
It's very true. They would rent it to you. Maybe a little bit of a premium tax on that too, depending on where they are.
Yeah.
But so first off, how's the soccer game going? Or no, you're at practice.
Rugby practice.
Soccer, yeah. Rugby, I'm sorry.
I mean, they're both good sports. I'm more of a rugby guy myself, obviously, but
it's a little bit more violent, right? Like there's just shoulder pads and a mask. You just plow people, right? No, that's lacrosse.
No, rugby is just mouthpiece and cleats. I mean, you don't.
Yeah, there's no shoulder pads.
You can put on like light padding, but nothing like football.
Can you hit?
Yeah, you
can hit, but there's like no forward movement though, right? Once you get the ball, you can go backwards and side to side, right?
You can run forward or kick the ball to advance. Okay. You can't pass the ball forward like football or basketball. All passing has to be to the side or behind you. If it goes forward, it's a penalty.
Now, did you play rugby?
In high school, I played on a men's team in Missoula called the Missoula Maggots. And then I played on a college team called they were the Bozeman Badgers when we started it. And then after 2 years, we were able to become the Montana State Bobcats.
So let me ask you this. I asked I got to meet Leon Searcy at TGS this year. You know who Leon Searcy is, right? Pittsburgh Steeler, Hall of Famer, um, lineman, just a
Oh yeah.
just a massive beast. He held a 760 in his hand. It looked like a 738. Like it looked like a Lancero. Like it seriously, it's huge.
They had sausage fingers.
Exactly. And I asked him a question I'm going to ask you because you do get hit in rugby. You can get plowed, right?
Oh
They
yeah.
can't check you. What was that experience like going from high school to college? That's a big eye-opening experience to get hit.
Well, I played 2 years of college football, and I blew up my knee my freshman year. So then my sophomore year, it was a really slow recovery with my knee, and I wasn't enjoying college football. So that's when I went to club rugby. And so I was used to, well, and I played men's rugby in high school. So I was used to being around men and getting hit by guys. But luckily, I've been the same size since I've been 15 years old. I didn't hit that second growth spurt. So I've been about 210, 220.
Okay. When I asked Leon that, he's like, oh, high school and college, that wasn't the jump. The jump was college to pro.
Oh, I
And
bet.
he's like, he told me who it was, but I couldn't remember. And he goes, I squared up with him, and we both just went, boom, and neither of us moved. And I just kind of looked back, and he goes, "Welcome to the pros." And he goes, "You mean shit around here." I just
Yeah.
stopped him in his track. Like I couldn't. I did football. I did wrestling, weightlifting, professional eater these days.
Yeah. Beard
And
Smith.
no, I try. I see. I don't zoom in too much, so people don't all see all the waviness to it. But I try to keep it up as good as I can. But so, how much has sports influenced? Because sports were a big thing with you. They still are. You're obviously you're coaching rugby. I know you follow sports. You played football. How much of sports shaped who you are today?
It's been huge, especially with me growing up and maturing. When I was
Oh, you're
in high
mature?
school, I would thought like, oh, I needed to be uh, needed to get all the accolades so you get a scholarship to play college football. And then when I got to college football, it just wasn't what I was expecting. So then I started to focus more on like what the lessons are with sports and the team building and accountability and just like what you need to do to be a successful team and a successful organization. I think what I've really enjoyed about sports and I've just translated that more into business as well. Just building a team, executing, meeting goals. Um, so I've that's where I've taken my sports experience.
And how has learning all of that? Well, let me ask it a different way. If sports weren't there, do you think you would have had, obviously you come from really good stock, really good family, really hardworking family. So you would have always been a hard worker. But would you have learned and had the great team camaraderie and the team building and all of that in your background, do you think, if sports weren't there?
Uh, I mean, sports for me, and this is on a personal note, really saved me because I didn't have the best family. My parents split in high school. His, my grandpa died right around my parents' divorce, so his mind was busy on work and going through a really bad divorce and losing his father. So in high school, I didn't really have a lot of structure other than sports. So it helped keep me in line. And then in college, you know, uh, sports is what kept me in the classroom. When I was playing club rugby, I wanted to stay in college so I could keep playing rugby, and it helped me so I could finish my degree. So sports to me it's been huge as far as my success.
So sports has been a comfort and a motivator and a mentor for you.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And it seems like in sports you found what you were missing at home with that structure and maybe even a little bit of that family inclusivity to it, and that carries right over to starting a company because everybody you work with you have to like, you have to be able to coach, you have to be able to talk to, run plays, strategize with. So
Yeah.
when you are bringing on your team and you're bringing more people in, do you ever like, if they don't watch sports or anything like that, is that kind of something where it's like, oh, well, I might not be able to work as good with this person because they might not know where I'm coming from? Or do you always try to find them on their level?
I mean, I try to communicate to people in their own levels. I mean, I don't expect everybody to be big sports nuts, but obviously it helps from a team aspect. But I don't think that you have to play sports to be a good team player. Um, but just kind of like when I was sports, like you're saying, like the guys on my team were my family. So when I played football, like if somebody messed with my team, like I protected my team, right? My teammates. I did that in rugby too, and then I'm very protective of the guys that I work with. I consider them very close. Like they're not brokers to me; they're friends. So like Brian, we've met a few times and we've cut up, and he's just a great dude up in New England. I consider him a friend. If he called, needed anything, I'd do it for him. Same with Brad and Adam and Cap. Like they're more than just people. They mean something to me.
And that's what, like, people that care about the business that they run have that mentality.
Mm-hmm.
Because I guarantee you, if Cap had a family issue or Brian had a family issue, your next response to them was, all right, how's your month going? It would be, hey, how could we help you? And there are bosses that when shit hits the fan, they turn around and go, I don't care. You got a quota.
Yeah.
And being in that team sport, that teaches you that compassion of protecting your teammate, your coworker, and having their back, and having that structure in a business, knowing that if shit hits the fan, that they could always fall back. That's big for somebody like myself. I've been in sales 20 years. I've had managers that literally will not go to the door with me, and then I've had managers that beat me to the door. And I always have more fun with the managers that race me to the door than to the
Yeah.
managers that just go, "What'd you do for me today?"
Yeah.
And it loses that. So when you and Jess are shaping this company, bringing on a sales team, how much of shitty old jobs you worked played into the structure of how you wanted that company to
Uh, I mean, cigars are it's an interesting market going and doing events and like having relationships. I mean, it's pretty cool. I mean, it's hard to compare it to anything else. I mean, it's something that I'm glad it's a page in my book that I'm happy that it's there. Because I did not enjoy some of the jobs I've had in the past. I didn't like busting dishes at the local restaurant in high school or being a shop boy in the mechanic shop or, when I was pipelining. I mean, there's a lot of shitty jobs you have to do, but you just got to get them done to complete the project. I mean, you get tired of being covered in mud and having 10 pounds of clay on your boots and you can barely walk.
and it's
That's
a toll on your body too.
Oh yeah, those days add up quick and they're long and they suck.
Yeah, I mean, for those, Brandon did pipeline. He's only 21, guys. No, that's I'm just kidding.
I wish I
I
was 21.
my knees like hardly work anymore. Like I did so much stupid shit as a kid, and in my 20s, I'm like, man, I can't believe I used to do that. Now in my 30s, late 30s, because my birthday's next Sunday, not this coming Sunday, but the 14th. Now I'm in my 40s going, man, I wish I wouldn't have done that back then. Oh, my knees hurt so bad. Like my daughter just wants to be held all the time, and my shoulders are bad from, trying to think I'm cool and pushing everything I could in the gym and thinking you're just like, ah. Oh. now right here just constantly hurts. It constantly hurts. So,
I got
well,
a buddy named Steve, and his thing is like, "Hey Steve, how much can you bench?" And he looks at you and he says, "Whatever I want." But he's a big Pollock man. He's a brick shithouse, that guy.
yeah, I got a buddy that went away to the Marine Corps, came back like 4 times the size he left. And like he's the type of guy where you're like, I'm gonna start some shit, he's gonna finish it. Don't fuck with me, you know.
Yeah.
But so tell us a little bit about Jesse, because we don't hear too much about him. He's elusive. I can't get him on the show. He was at PCA, but give us a little bit of history on him. How did you guys meet? Just the backstory, because you did tell us 2 years ago when you first came on, but give us that little backstory. Fill us in a little bit on him.
Yeah, so Jess, my dad has the pipeline construction company, and he was working for my dad out in North Dakota, and he was the foreman on my crew. And Jess's goal every day was to try to get me to quit. And so he would just give me the shittiest fucking jobs and do whatever he could to like twist a knife in my gut to piss me off. And so, we eventually grew a friendship out of that, because he tested me and I just would never fold, I guess. And, when we were working together, we'd always throw business ideas back and forth because we wanted to do something with our money other than buying cool boats and trucks and, whatever other people were doing. We were like looked at, always interested in business. And so we throw around business ideas, and we'd look on Google the next day and somebody had already been doing it. So we're just like, oh, that sucks. So one day he was fishing and he texts me, "Hey, I need to talk to you about a business idea I just had. I think this is going to be a good one." It's all right, cool. And so he calls me when he gets back into service. He's like, "Why don't we start a Montana cigar company?" And at that time I was thinking, like, that's a really cool idea. In my mind, automatically went to the boom that we had seen with craft beers, and then craft distilleries were just starting to take off in 2018, 2019, 20. So I was like, wow. I mean, if you got beer, distilleries, I mean, I think cigars would probably be almost like right behind it. And luckily, that trend seemed to hit, and it did hit. And so luckily I'd say that was I don't really like to believe in luck, but our timing was very fortuitous. I'll say that.
So you guys, you started this. So then what? Jesse does all the back end admin stuff, and you are more of the front facing, more of the events than Jess is.
That was kind of the being business partners and having roles and fair workloads. I mean, that was probably the biggest friction that we've had as far as friends and business partners. When I was on the road doing pipeline construction, I'd be somewhere else in the country. I wouldn't be at Big Sky HQ. And Jess was able to be there, and his family, and they really helped build the foundation for Big Sky. And so it created a little bit of resentment, because like I would come home twice a year, and when I'd come home, he'd want me to come straight to HQ to work, right? And I was like, fuck, man, I haven't been hunting in 2 years. I want to go hunting. I haven't seen like my family or my friends. Like, I want to go see some of them. So we had to work through that. And then when I went full-time Big Sky last year, or fall of 2022, Jess got transferred for work from the Bakken down to Houston. And he called me and he's like, "Hey, Brandon, for this to go, we really need somebody to go full-time, because we're at a tipping point. We need to have somebody that's going to give it that attention for it to grow the way that we know that it can." And so I went full-time Big Sky. Well, we didn't have the fulfillment set up. So 2022 and 2023, I was packing orders, doing sales, doing events, doing accounts receivables, taking care of the books. I mean, it was full throttle, Big Sky, just doing whatever I thought I needed to make the business successful. And luckily now we've found somebody in Houston that they're handling our distribution, so I don't have to pack orders anymore. So I can focus more on events and being more creative. Jess's real what his forte is more supply chain control and inventory and making sure that our cigars are here. And then he's going to help with that event up in New England. So that's going to be really cool. I know that he wants to touch in. He's got a girlfriend in Colorado, so he's going to make more touches at Edwards and Smoking Cave.
Nice.
But I mean, he's a busy guy. I mean, his responsibilities that he has for work. I mean, he's got a full boat as it is. I mean, both got full boats.
And yours is about to get a lot fuller.
Yeah.
A lot fuller. So what's the dynamic? What's Jesse like? What's Jess like personality wise? Is he yin to yang to you? Meaning is he quiet, more reserved?
So I'm the more quiet, reserved one.
Really?
Yeah. I'm more quiet and reserved. I feel like I'm really analytical, and sometimes I get into my head too much. Jess is the guy that he's just funny. He's a jokester, very charismatic, and he's a good sales guy too. So we do have some good balance there. Like, I'm growing more as a salesperson, becoming more comfortable in those roles, I don't know. I think people have different types of charisma. My charisma is I think I'm very just straight up with people, and people respect me for that.
There's no beating around the bush.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta say, the first time I called you to come on the show, you answered. And then the next couple of times I called, you answered. And then one day I called you and some lady answered. And I was like, she's like, Big Sky. And I'm like, what? Is Brandon? Okay, I'm just going to call his cell phone. And then that's when I got your cell phone number. But so just in that short time, like, you guys have like grown quite a bit. You now have distribution. You have somebody taking care of that, taking it off your plate. You have somebody at Big Sky HQ now. So as you're going into the sales side, what has been something that, since you said Jesse's a really good sales guy, what's the dynamic between that? What's his style and what's yours?
Jess has an ability to get the room laughing. He's got a really good energy, and he's he's funny, witty, very witty. And he just gets people laughing. I mean, even when we go on trips to like Nicaragua, he's just a funny fucking dude. And like, he'll tell jokes in Spanish, and like all the Nicaraguan dudes just like start laughing, he's a jokester. So, and then me,
what's your style?
I think I'm just more, I mean, I'm not saying that he's not that way too, but I think I'm more personal. I don't make a lot of connections, but the connections I make are good connections.
So he goes in and steals the room, and you go in stealthily and talk to those that you need to.
You could say that.
And that is an approach, right? I'm the gregarious Jess. I go in, like, it drives my wife nuts sometimes. I'll be sitting in a grocery store and I'll just strike up a conversation with just random people. She's like, how do you do that? Like, I don't even understand. Like, you're just comfortable with that. And then I know some of my, like, one of my best sales mentors had your approach. He'd always go in under the radar, never really knew he was there. And then all of a sudden he was just in front of the person he needed to talk to, and he'd get the thing done. Me, I took the long way around the room. because
Yeah.
that's just my style. I like to laugh. I like to wine and dine, kiss ass a little bit. You know, like I said, I take the long way around, and that other approach is a more direct, and it sounds like that's usually what you do.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm kind of awkward sometimes. I was talking with Brian and one of his good friends from, I think the guy's name was Gooch, but he was with General. And Gooch is like, Brian was telling me about how he's found this company. He thinks it's going to be a really good one, and he was talking about Big Sky, and this guy's giving me a compliment, right? Well, at the same time, I'm thinking about how my Texas rep Brad wants to build his book, so I just say, "Hey, thank you, Brian. Do you know anybody that's looking for a rep in Texas?" Like instead of like going on like getting this like joyful like I had that in the back of my mind and I couldn't let go of it, and so I just had to ask Brian. Like,
No, dude, I'm ADD, man. It drives my wife nuts. I'm literally the same. I'm the dog from Up. Mid sentence, squirrel. Like that's the world I live in. So I completely understand that need to just do that. That's not really awkward, but I get how it feels that way. But you're clearly doing something right. I mean, you're over 200 accounts in 3 years. Like like that's
well, it's
awesome.
5 years.
I'm talking PCA. I'm talking
Oh,
PCA.
PCA, yeah.
Within 3 PCAs, you're over 200 accounts. Like that's really, really, really good. But so what have you learned about yourself putting yourself in a sales position and putting yourself out there? Because that's not something that everybody can do. Hardest
Mhm.
part of my job when I was a trainer was getting people to pick up the phone or open a door. So knowing that sales is still a learning process, it's always a learning process. I've been here 20 years, I'm still learning. Um, what, how, let me see, because I was going somewhere with that and then I kind of lost track. See, even
I,
happens to me.
I think what you're trying to go at is what I see. Like, so I was at a luncheon for the Pro Pipe yesterday, and I'm sitting there and I was talking to two engineers, and we were just cutting up about life and sports and what everybody liked to do. And then really the last 30 seconds of the lunch, it was like, so, they must have liked me. It's like, so Pro Pipe, you guys do pipeline construction, yada, yada. Okay. Hey, can I get your card? So it's more, just building that rapport with somebody.
Yeah,
That's, I guess I feel like I'm more of a sales guy as I build those relationships, and maybe they won't go anywhere. Maybe they will, but I don't try to, oversell the cigars because the cigars sell for themselves once
correct.
people. So my thing is just like getting people to get to know me.
Correct. And that's really, what we're doing here tonight, right? We're taking down different avenues. We're diving into different thoughts and different ways of thought that you think, so people get to know you more. People can feel more personable with you, and when they meet you, they can feel a little bit more of that, oh, he's just like me.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there's so much in the cigar world, without naming any names, that when somebody walks in the room, they piss down their leg because they're so excited to see God, and they don't realize that everybody is just everybody. Like, it's just a person. They put their pants on one leg at a time. Sometimes I feel a little spry. I try to go two, and I usually trip.
Yeah.
Um, but and that's really what I try to do here, is just to show people a different side, that you've had struggles. And I really appreciate you going into your little bit of your life, and how you grew up, because that struggle might resonate with someone, and that alone might draw them to your company, because they're like, oh, he's like me. He had a tough life growing up too. I grew up this way as well. You know, my parents divorced. Man, it was messy. Man, I could maybe resonate to that. You know, I could feel that story. I could feel that, and maybe that draws them to you. And that's really why I love having people on multiple times, because when we're able to really kind of dive into a little bit of their past and bring that human aspect to them. Because let's face it, the company, without naming names, and I won't, the company we were talking about before the show, I don't resonate to. I can't. I don't know what that is. I don't understand that. And
Yeah.
and I don't think a lot of people can. And I think people resonate to the hardworking everyday man. My hands look like this, so my wife's hands can look like that mentality. And that really is the mentality of Big Sky. It is work hard, play hard, bootstrap the company, work your ass off, don't give up. And that's a huge aspect of the company. And it shows, because it wasn't always smooth sailing like this. How many times in the 5 years did you want to give up?
I mean, it's sometimes you wonder if the juice is worth the squeeze. That's for sure. I mean, that's something you got to ask yourself. But I've always believed in Big Sky, and that belief is what keeps me going after it every day and trying to figure out, working on what I need to do to be successful with the business. But how many times did I want to give up? I mean, it's definitely crossed my mind, but I believe in the business so much is that I'm not going to let myself quit.
But that's the passion. It's
Yeah.
okay to feel like you want to give up. But
Yeah.
that's the crossroad, right? In the business. That's the crossroad. When I consult companies and I consult mom and pops, I would always tell them there's always choices every single day. There's always a choice to give up or go.
Mm-hmm.
And every single choice either ends with give up or go. And that's the only way you have to look at it. Is sleeping until 8 o'clock? Is that me giving up, or is me getting up at 6 actually showing I'm going? You know, it's
Yeah.
that little bit.
I mean, I was at lunch today with my fiance, and I was just like, I'm burnt out, from doing the trade show, and then I got an event tomorrow, and I was just like, I got this thing with Ryan tonight. I was like, so I don't even want to get on my phone, and I was like, oh, dude, like I'm kind of wiped at the moment.
But you know what though? Like, this perseverance is why people will be smoking Big Sky 15 years from now, 20 years from now.
Yeah.
It is these moments when I come back to you in 20 years and we finally get an opportunity to meet each other when we're in our 60s. I'm going to look back and go, man, do you remember when you were on the show and you talked about how you were burned out? And now look at you. You own a yacht. You're set up like Rocky Patel. You got $100 million house, 10 cars, like this is where you guys are going to be. And you're going to look back and go, man, that juice was worth the squeeze. And maybe in the moment you just don't see it. So how do you keep yourself motivated? And I ask the question like this. I used to be money motivated until I made a lot of money. And I realized that once you make it, it's not really a motivator anymore. So my motivator became my family, but I don't own a business on the scale that you do. So what is your motivation every day to keep going?
I look at Big Sky as the way for me to be free. And when I've done a W-2 and worked for other people and just being a part of a team, it's important to know how to function as part of a team. But I was never getting ahead. I was just paying for my bills. So I might as well just live a life now where I'm living, pretty frugally. Like, I'd say I'm very frugal right now. I'm nowhere like Rocky Patel, right?
Most
not even close. I don't have FU money. Not at all. All the money we make is just going back into the company. But it's just, I see Big Sky as my shot to actually have freedom in this world eventually. And that's just where maybe I'm convinced myself that's what it is, and maybe it's not, but that's how I feel that's how it is.
But you have to convince yourself of that. Because it's if you didn't convince yourself of that, then you're fucking wasting your time because you're not trying for anything, you know?
Yeah.
I always tell people, you should have, 30 day, 90 days, 6 months, 1 year, 5 year, 10 year, but then you should have whale goals. You should have goals that are so hard to obtain that they keep you trying.
Yeah.
Like the first time I called you to get on the show, I don't think I'm going to get Brandon Marsh on the show. He's too big of a name in the cigar world. But I tried and I got it. So when I say it like that, what in your mind when I say what is a whale goal for you, business or not business? And we'll end the show early tonight too, because I know you're doing the coaching and it makes absolute sense that you're burned out. So we'll end the show here in about 10 or 15 minutes. But I'm curious, what is your whale goal in life, whether it be business or anything?
Mailbox money.
Explain that to those that don't understand that.
When you got checks coming into your mailbox and you've got everything set up to where you don't have to, the headache's not there anymore. Like when we get Big Sky to this point to where I was talking with a gentleman up in Kalispell, Montana, and we're talking about developing business and developing Big Sky. And I said, well, if I structure all these processes like this, and then if I do that, then, that makes it so I'm replaceable. And he's just like, Brandon, that's the point of business. You want to be replaceable so you can be doing something else.
Yes.
And I was just like, wow, Bill, you are correct. Because at first, I was kind of like, I didn't want to let all the secret sauce out, right? What I was doing, because I wanted to make sure that I was needed. But if you do that, then it's more of a hindrance than it is good, because you're not going to grow.
Absolutely.
And so now with having this distribution partner and, now we've got a bookkeeper that's on retainer, and we have people answering our phone calls. Now I can focus more on events and being creative and having fun again, now that all these structures are in place.
It only took 5 short years to do it.
Yeah. Well, it takes 5 years when you fund it yourself.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. Company we were talking pre-show had it from day one. Yes.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. And you know what, Bruce? What you said, again, Michael Jordan is just attributed with some of the best sayings. You're 100% right. The only thing that Brandon knows that wouldn't have happened is if he didn't start Big Sky, he would never have had a shot to take. And you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And that's very true. And about replicating yourself, when I used to do consulting for mom and pop shops, a lot of these were family run, like literally father, son, wife, daughter-in-law, daughter. And I got into it with dad one day. It was a big roofing company. And dad was getting into his 60s, and his wife was telling me she's wanting him to slow down and trying to convince him to give it to his son. And he's like, "Oh, the company won't run without me." I was like, "Yeah, you're right. It won't, unless you give it a shot to run without you." But I'm like, you don't let your son do anything. You don't let him go out and price. You don't let him go out and do this. You don't let him go out and do that. You don't let him run a crew. I don't know what the hell he's even doing. What's he do?
Yeah.
And so after we kind of got into a little bit of a back and forth for a couple weeks, and then finally he said, "You know what? You guys are right." So he gave the son little bit by little bit over the next 3 years. We laid out a plan to give the business to his son, and the business ended up growing numerous amounts after his son took it over, because it was fresh ideas, it was fresh understanding, it was a fresh look at the market. Mm-hmm. And by you not being willing to replicate yourself, you lose that. And what you found is by replicating yourself, life's easier. It frees your mind space up. It also brings in potentially new talent with a new vision, with a new idea, with a new understanding of that market.
Oh yeah.
Um, and so that's why I'm a very big proponent of the second you think you know it all, just leave an industry. Because if you know everything, then the industry is boring and there's nothing else for you to do. But when you're willing to learn and grow a craft, and running a company is a craft, right? Like it's hard. It you have to foresee so much, and having that ability to just relinquish stuff, it's a very freeing feeling.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
What was it like when you brought that distributor on and you're like, I'm not going to have to do this out of my garage anymore?
Actually, we when we moved down to Houston, we got an office space in a lawyer's professional building. And
Proverbial garage, proverbial.
Yeah, so we rented out a couple offices in this professional building, and that's where our humidor was, and that's where I did all the orders. And I mean, it's just great. Not because packing orders, I mean, that's just half the thing. I mean, it takes a lot of it, creating all the invoices and processing payments, and then making sure your accounts receivables aren't getting too far out. I mean, we try to do credit cards with everybody. We have terms with some people, but it seems like people that are on terms, it's not really working out the best.
They rewrite the terms.
Yeah, 30 days turns into 60, and 60 turns into 120 pretty quick.
Yeah. No, I get that, man. That's a hard part about business. That is, accounts receivable is one of the hardest strains on a young company, because everything is going out and you have to have stuff coming, and that's so hard. So last question of the night. When do you see Big Sky, or do you see Big Sky ever bringing an inside sales team?
I mean, it just has to be, if that's a numbers game, you have to have the volume to support the position.
Correct.
And I mean, at the volume cigars that are being consumed throughout the country. Right now, for us to justify the position, we need to get our sales up a little more. But then once that comes up and there's somebody that can handle that role, definitely look at it.
All right. So everybody here the next couple of years, if you guys are liking Big Sky and you're looking to branch out and start with a new company, keep your eye on Big Sky, as they're probably going to be getting to the point. I've been told by a few manufacturers that roughly you need about $300,000 to $500,000 per territory to support a rep. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, if you think a rep makes 10% or 15%, so if you want a rep to be making $100K a year, I mean, they got to sell a lot of cigars, like $700,000 or $700,000 worth of cigars to support themselves.
There's a lot of people out there that do that. That is for sure. So, well, I tell you what, Brandon, as always, man, thank you so much for coming on. We'll wrap the show up about 30 minutes early tonight, just to give you a little bit extra time in your day, because I know you've been running yourself ragged, and you want to get out and go hang out with your stepson. And
what's he gauge? He just practices over.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, man. So I was hoping we were getting some footage of you laying him out or something, or him laying you out. So, well, take care, man. Thank you so much for coming on. Thanks so much for spending your night with us. I really appreciate it. And please let me know if you're able to make it to the event this year. And let me know when you're coming into Colorado next. And until we see you all again, smoke what you like. Smoke as often as you can. Have a great rest of your week. Bye, everyone.
See you guys. See you, Ryan.
See ya.